You wake up at 3 a.m. again. You're staring at the ceiling and your mind is already spinning. Tomorrow's to-do lists, things left unsaid, worries you can't quite name. And in the morning, you drag yourself out of bed feeling like you didn't sleep at all. If you're around 50 or older, you've probably heard the same things over and over. It's stress, you're working too hard, or the classic, this is just what happens as you get older. But that's not the whole truth, and today we're going to explain why. What's happening to your sleep right now has nothing to do with weakness or an inability to unwind. It's the result of real, measurable physiological changes in your body. Every single night waking has a biological reason behind it. Today, we're going to walk through those reasons, one by one, and show you what you can actually do to sleep deeply again and wake up feeling restored. No heavy sleep medications, no resigning yourself to this is just how it is now. Let's start with the most important piece. After 50, two hormonal shifts happen in your body that directly disrupt the architecture of your sleep. The first is estrogen. Estrogen regulates your body temperature. When its levels drop, the internal thermostat in your brain starts misfiring. You might not feel an obvious hot flash, but your body temperature fluctuates throughout the night, and that causes what are called microarousals. They last only seconds, you won't remember them, but they fragment your deep sleep so thoroughly that by morning you feel exhausted, even if you technically spent 8 hours in bed. The second hormone is progesterone. Think of progesterone as your body's natural calm-down signal. It softens the nervous system, and this part is crucial. It helps maintain the muscle tone in your airway while you sleep. When progesterone declines, your brain loses its primary soothing molecule. And this is where a story begins that most doctors simply never tell their female patients. When the airway loses that muscle tone, the risk of sleep apnea rises sharply. We're talking about actual pauses in breathing during sleep. After menopause, a woman's risk of developing sleep apnea increases by up to 50%, and yet roughly 90% of women who have it have no idea. Because female sleep apnea doesn't look the way most people imagine. There's no dramatic, rattling snore. More often, it sounds like soft, quiet, slightly interrupted breathing, almost gentle. But in those moments, your blood oxygen levels are dropping, your brain fires an alarm signal and wakes you up so you take a breath. You open your eyes with no idea why, and in the morning, there's that familiar heaviness, that foggy, thick-headed feeling you've been blaming on stress for years. If you notice morning fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, frequent unexplained wakings, or headaches when you get up, please bring this up with your doctor. A sleep study could genuinely change your life. Now, let's talk about why it's specifically 3 or 4 in the morning. This isn't random. During that window, your body begins a natural process. Cortisol, your stress and wakefulness hormone, starts to rise. Under normal circumstances, this rise is slow and gradual, and you sleep right through it. But with the hormonal shifts of this life stage, that rise can happen earlier and more sharply than it should. Your brain switches on abruptly. It goes into high alert mode, and suddenly you're wide awake, staring into the dark, thinking about unpaid bills, an unfinished project, your children, your parents, anything and everything. And here is the mistake that almost every woman makes in that moment. She stays in bed, she tosses and turns, she watches the clock, she starts calculating how many hours she has left before the alarm goes off. In sleep medicine, this pattern is called catastrophizing, and it's exactly what turns an occasional waking into chronic insomnia, because your brain is incredibly good at learning, and what it learns very quickly is this: bed equals stress. Bed equals wakefulness. Bed equals anxiety. Every night, that pattern deepens. Breaking that pattern is the foundation of what sleep specialists call stimulus control, a core technique in cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. The rule is simple. If you wake up and sleep doesn't return within about 20 minutes, get up, leave the bedroom, sit in a comfortable chair in dim light, and do something quiet and unstimulating. Read something dull. Listen to a calm, slow podcast. No phone scrolling, no news, something boring. And only return to bed when your eyes are genuinely heavy. The goal is straightforward. Your brain needs to relearn that the bed is a place for sleep and only sleep. Let's talk about two more factors that are frequently overlooked, even by well-meaning doctors. The first is melatonin. By 50, your brain produces roughly half the melatonin it once did. Many women start taking supplements, which can be a reasonable step, but there's one very common mistake, taking too high a dose. 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams. This isn't therapeutic, it's an overload. High doses frequently cause vivid, unsettling dreams and leave you feeling groggy in the morning. Here's what's important to understand. Melatonin is not a sleeping pill. It's a timing signal for your biological clock. The research points to a physiological dose of no more than 3 milligrams, just enough to gently remind your brain that night has arrived and it's time to wind down. The second factor is ferritin. Do you recognize this feeling? A restless, almost crawling sensation in your legs in the evening. An irresistible urge to move them, shift them, stretch them, making it almost impossible to fall asleep? That's called restless leg syndrome, and it affects up to 30% of postmenopausal women. It's closely linked to iron deficiency in the brain. Here's the catch. Your standard blood panel may come back looking completely normal, but for healthy dopamine function and truly restorative sleep, your ferritin levels shouldn't just be within the normal range. It should be closer to 100. Get that number checked. For many women, correcting low ferritin turns out to be a surprisingly simple and very real solution to sleepless nights. And finally, the thing we most want to leave you with, and perhaps the most important of all, there is a deeply ingrained belief in our culture that women should endure pain, fatigue, feeling unwell, especially after 50, that this is just aging, that everyone goes through it, that you simply have to push through. That is not true, and it's time to stop accepting it. Quality sleep is not a luxury. It is not something you have to earn or something you simply aged out of. It is a fundamental health indicator, as essential as your blood pressure or your heart rate. During deep sleep, your brain clears out metabolic waste, your cardiovascular system repairs itself. Every extra 15 minutes of genuine restorative sleep has a measurable impact on your energy, your cognitive sharpness, and your heart health for years to come. So advocate for yourself. Ask your doctor about a sleep study if apnea might be a factor. Get your ferritin tested. Have an honest conversation about hormone therapy if there are no contraindications for you personally. And please, stop demanding perfect nights from yourself. Give yourself permission to be imperfect. Tell yourself, tonight was harder, and that's okay. My body is resilient. I'll take it a little easier tomorrow. That quiet, gentle acceptance, as paradoxical as it sounds, is often what finally opens the door to real, deep, lasting sleep. You deserve to wake up rested every single morning. In our next video, we're going to explore something else that many women in this season of life find quietly unsettling. You're mid-sentence and the word you need simply isn't there. The thought is clear, but the word is gone. We'll look at what's actually driving that mental fog and give you concrete, practical steps to get your mental clarity back. We'll see you there.